Join us for a great conversation with Sandy Ervin. She's a music teacher, she's a photographer, she's an entrepreneur, and she's a really cool mom. Like and subscribe to this episode because it's awesome.
The Elven Star Podcast. And now your host, Kevin Ferry.
Hi, welcome to the Elven Star Podcast. I'm Kevin Ferry, and today's guest is Sandy Ervin, artist extraordinaire, founder and leader of the Crescendo Music School, known as the Crescendo Music Loft. Welcome, Sandy.
Thank you, Kevin. It's great to be here.
Sandy, besides that, I also understand that you are artist extraordinaire, like photography, painting, music. So we got a lot to cover. But let's start with this. Tell us how you have followed your bliss to get to where you're at now.
Wow, followed my bliss. I guess it's always got to be fun.
I knew what was happening. I knew I was a genius. What's so strange when you know that you're a wizard at 3? I knew that this was meant to be.
So whatever I'm doing, if it's not fun, then I just stop doing it. So I don't know. It's fun to be with people. It's fun to teach. It's fun to take beautiful pictures. It's fun to, I don't know if I said it, develop community, bring people together. And so that's what I'm constantly working toward.
So we talked a little bit about this last night, about following our bliss. I didn't use that exact phrase. I picked that up from Joseph Campbell, who's a really cool guy that wrote about mythology, a bunch of books. He's passed on now, but worth looking into Joseph Campbell because mythology is really important. But anyway, follow your bliss. But last night when we were talking, we were just talking about do what you had fun doing when you're a kid.
Yes.
And kind of remember that. Like if you're stuck now in life as an adult, just kind of remember, and sometimes it takes a lot of remembering. What did I do that I would get lost in time as a kid? And it sounds like with you, what you told me is you like to just get lost and explore. So what is music? What is art? What is photography other than an exploration using certain mediums, right?
Yes.
So where do you want to jump in with first? Like which of these came first for you? Singing, music, art, where were you? Just doing it all at once?
I suppose singing. I just was always singing. I was always playing guitar. When I went to college, I thought I was gonna be a lawyer, and it was funny. I was listening to your one of your other podcasts, and you talked about how you didn't really have to be study poli-sci to be a lawyer, which is what I thought I had to do once I got to school. And I thought, well, I'm really not good at those things. So I'm really good at math. So let me do math. But in the meantime, I was always taking all the music classes I possibly could. I was involved in all the ensembles. I took every class I could. But I guess from the vibe I was getting from my family was that wasn't really a viable career. And not only that, I guess maybe because I grew up in the South, it was not to encourage women to have a career was not, I guess, was not something that they cared about. They cared so much about. So I didn't have much direction about that. But then I just kept taking music classes, and then I hit differential equations in math, and I was like, okay, I'm out. So I guess I'm just going to do the easy route and finish out with, I'm already taking all these music classes, and I'm having fun, So let me just do that.
Yeah, that's cool. So you said a bunch there, and one was like the vibe you were getting your family, and it made me think when you said that of the Zeppelin song, "There Are Two Paths We Can Go By," right? And the one is the one that everyone else is telling you should do. Like you love art, you love music, but mom and dad are saying, well, you should go into law because you can make money. Well, like, wait a minute, follow your bliss. And then the next thing you said was, well, I did the one that was easy. Well, if you're following your bliss, it probably does come easy.
Oh, yeah.
Like we have been convinced by various mechanisms in society to believe that everything has to be a struggle for it to be worthwhile. sometimes that's true. Like if you want to lift more weight, you got to struggle. If you want to be a top athlete, there's some work, and I get that. But by the same time, having fun is like, what else is there? And in this world right now, holy cow, do we need more of that? So from what I know, and I've been to your studio, you're bringing a lot of fun to a lot of people. So I applaud you for
Thank
that.
you.
So just tell us about the type of, you said you were in a lot of different musical, endeavors when you were young. What did you do? Did you sing in the chorus and all that kind of stuff?
Well, in college, I sang in the choir, and everybody had to, if you were a music major, you had to be in an ensemble. And so the only one available, it was a small liberal arts college, the University of the South in Sewanee, Tennessee. And so to be a music major, you had to be in some sort of ensemble. And so the only ensemble available at the time was the university choir, which required that I get up at 8 a.m. on Sunday mornings to go sing in the church service.
In college?
In college, yeah.
That's like epic.
Yeah. It's it was like I was so unenthusiastic that it came as quite a shock to me that they elected me president my senior year. I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" So
Wow.
anyway, and then I participated in all the musicals possible. I created my own ensembles. I was just constantly trying to bring people together to make music. I would create my own programs that were outside of my work, my schoolwork. And then when I graduated, I moved up to Connecticut. I got involved in the Ridgefield Chorale with Ernestine Holmes, who was a great role model for me. And got to sing a lot of the soprano solos for that. I got to actually sing in Carnegie Hall, a little tiny 8-bar moment
Oh,
in
that's
Carnegie Hall.
wild. How was
And
that?
that was incredible. That was incredible.
Were you nervous?
Yes, I was extremely nervous because the, director, I'll say her name, Maggie Brooks, uh, in rehearsal, we had the entire, uh this wasn't I don't know if this was in Carnegie Hall. I feel like I was on stage. But it was rehearsal. No, this was something different. And the orchestra, we had the full orchestra, and I was singing my part, and she stopped everybody to tell me I was late on the beat. I was behind on beat.
Well,
So, anyway,
were you?
I don't know. I tried it again, and I still don't. To this day, I don't know what she was talking about. And the person next to me was trying to help me by tapping my body to help me keep the beat. I still don't know what was going on with that, but I was terrified of her, and that's what we were doing. So anyway,
Wow.
it was, but
But
it was a cool venue. What a great opportunity to be there. So.
yeah, amazing. I mean, to hear your own voice in that pristine sound chamber.
Yeah,
Yeah, good for you.
it was
Cool.
incredible.
All right. So what kind of things were you doing in college when you said you were doing your own productions? Were you doing plays, or what'd you do?
I put together, I was constantly trying to I guess now that I look back on it, I was even then trying to create places where musicians could come together that weren't necessarily performing elsewhere. And so I was constantly trying to create a venue. There was a building that was kind of a rundown building in the woods. The place where I went to school is on a mountain. It was a private school, and it had acres and acres, and so it had all these extra buildings. And so, I would get people together to go play it. I think I'm getting it confused with the Tune In that's in New Haven, but it was something like that. And, I would get other people to play and sing on the same programs, and I would draw the posters and put them all around campus and stuff
Wow.
like that.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome idea. I mean, why do we think that musicians can't get together unless they're gonna perform somewhere? They're playing a gig, they're playing at
Right,
a bar, they're playing at a winery, whatever.
right.
We definitely need more places where they can just come together. I actually think we could use more studios where people that wanted to do a podcast could do one. So hopefully if this thing hits it big, no, when it hits it big, I gotta remember
Yeah,
the positive thinking.
yes, right.
Um, and we can impact a lot of lives, we'll be able to get a place where we have maybe multiple studios that are just like open.
Yeah.
Come in and do some digital stuff to change the background so whoever wants to talk can talk. Like, the more the merrier, right?
Sure.
Like with music, like if
Yeah.
everyone was playing music, oh my God.
Yeah.
We would not have any wars.
Right. I loved your thing that you said. I don't remember what the first part of it was, but the second part of it was a lot of little lights. A lot of little lights. I'm going to, if that's okay, I'm going to use that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what I meant by that, but that was kind
Well,
of
it was in, you were talking about, the big stars.
Oh, yeah,
The big
yeah.
people,
Yeah, yeah.
and people get fixated um on the famous people, and the people that are for whatever reason are creating a lot of attention for themselves on social media, as opposed to I just love what you're doing here with just the average
Cool.
person.
I appreciate it. And so when I hear you say that, made me think, since we're talking music, about like a choir with 1,000,000 people all at the same note. Now, that would sound wild, right? Because you know what it's like to be in a group, even if it's 10, 20, or 30, and everyone's singing a note, there's going to be some slight variation.
Sure, yeah.
And it just has this beautiful shimmer and echo. So the more you have, the merrier.
Have you seen any of the Jacob Collier concerts where he does that?
No.
That's like his thing. He's an amazing musician himself. My husband says, somebody needs to just put him back on his planet, because he's from a different planet in terms of his skill set and things like that. But he does these amazing concerts, and maybe someday I'll be able to go to one where he gets the audience to do these really cool singing in harmony, and he directs the entire audience. And I don't know how the average person can actually follow what he's doing, but they do it, and it's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's probably one of the reasons why I love Bhakti yoga, which is a yoga of devotion, is chanting, call and response, because it's interactive.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we repeat the mantras that the performers are singing. They just keep playing while we sing, and then they sing. And
That's great.
It's backwards and forth. So you get lost in love in Bhakti. It's amazing. Yeah. So cool. Like music, I love it. I started at I think in the 3rd grade playing the recorder.
I was going to ask if you
4th grade playing a little trumpet. 5th grade, I was playing Misty perfectly.
Wow, that's not an easy melody.
So my 5th
Wait,
grade,
you played Misty on what instrument?
on my trumpet.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, in the 4th or 5th grade. For some reason, it just was channeled to me. I don't know where I heard it. I don't know what it is about it, but to this day, I still love it. But my band director at that time, I think 5th grade, he dragged me out of class one day. He said, go get your trumpet and come over here. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I had to play Misty for the high school band director who was in visiting him.
Yep.
So whatever. So I should have been a trumpet player, but I'm not. I still play a little, but here I am.
Do you still have your trumpet?
I love having musicians on, as you can tell. So I do. My Bach Stradivarius, which is the one I was gifted by my stepdad in high school because he was just awesome, loved to make dreams come true for us.
Yeah.
And that was stolen. Ended up replacing it with a silver Bach Stradivarius, which is kind of what I had always wanted. But recently I got a flugelhorn.
Really?
Because I really
That's a switch.
I love Chuck Mangione.
Oh, okay.
So I play that as well. But yeah.
I'm getting confused about the flugelhorn. It's not a tuba. It's like I can't remember it.
Flugelhorn is essentially just a trumpet with a bigger bell.
Okay.
And it's a more mellow sound.
Okay, so it's not that much.
It's not the stand-up thing that you're maybe thinking of in the marching bands and stuff. All right, but let's talk about what's going on with you in the music world, because you do something that's really, really unique, right?
Well, I like to think so.
Well, yeah, you're in Madison, Connecticut, down on the shore, and it's called Crescendo Music Loft. Singing, music, and music theory.
Yeah, so we teach. I lose track sometimes. So it's singing, piano, guitar. We have a few ukulele students, and no matter your instrument, we're teaching you to be a musician. We're teaching you to be part of the conversation. So the instrument is sort of secondary to what we're trying to accomplish. Find out what your message is and be able to communicate through whatever instrument you're playing.
So when you say find out what your message is, are you actually talking to these students saying, what do you want to get out of music, or what does music mean to you, or what is that like?
Sometimes. So some of the singers, it's interesting to me. Um, I've never really thought about it. I don't the piano players and the guitar players tend to come in kind of knowing what I can tell they're connected to what they're playing. Sometimes the singers have a hard time. Many of them are hardwired. They just come in and they already have their message, and I don't really need to talk to them about it. But oftentimes, the part of the reason they can't get their voice, a lot of people talk about having it's stuck here. It feels like it's stuck here and they can't get it out. And so oftentimes it's because they don't really know what they want to say. Now, that doesn't mean they don't have a message. It's just that they haven't really figured out what it is consciously. They don't consciously. They unconsciously have one and are communicating it every day through everything that they do, but they're not, their body isn't connected to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a therapist, so I don't really understand all that. But
well,
I do believe body, mind, and spirit is, the more we can be, those three things can be working in harmony, the more you're going to be able to have fun and the more you're going to be able to communicate. So I do work with people, and some people just they leave lessons because they don't want to figure that out. They're intimidated by that, even though I try really hard to not be intimidating.
yeah. Well, you said you're not a therapist. Society doesn't recognize our music teachers and our teachers as therapists, but come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, really, they're the best therapist. Because you're getting people to open up their heart, to tap into their true voice, like you said, explore the things that need to come out of them so that they feel connected, seen, heard, all that kind of good stuff, right? How many people do you have like working with students?
Well, we are now 7 instructors.
Wow.
Which is incredible. When I don't know, a million years ago, it feels like a million years ago, I was working with my friend Brian Penrain. He was helping me craft a name for the curriculum. I was putting together my own curriculum, and I realized I needed to maybe have a name for it so that it was going to help me stay focused. And I remember he did this beautiful artwork for the binder covers. And I just thought, I don't know if I'm just really not worthy of this design. And this beautiful logo, he made this beautiful logo for me, and this beautiful and on the binder cover it said, it had a name had a space for the student name, which I wanted, but then it also had a space for the instructor name. And I'm like, well, I'm the only instructor, so I don't know. So here we are, I want to say 15 years later, and now I'm actually using that, and there are other names going on that binder, and so now I can't remember what you asked me.
That's fine. It's fine. It was a great answer. He was just like seeing the future.
Yeah, he was seeing the future,
Brian
and
did this beautiful logo too.
Yes.
And I accepted it graciously. So,
yes. Yes.
As you probably now realize you did as well.
Yeah. Well, yes, of course.
Little resistance at first.
A little
sounded
resistance.
Like I'm not worthy or whatever it was.
Yes. Well, so we have 7 instructors, but I also have 2 office staff. And the whole goal at the studio, I tell everybody, the goal here is to get as much instruction time for the teacher as they're in their lesson. So they shouldn't have to be talking about scheduling. They shouldn't have to be talking about billing, or when the next concert is. The office staff is communicating that. So I like to, it's a 9-member team that's making it happen in the lessons so that it can just be full on music in the lessons.
That's great. And when people come to you for voice or piano or guitar or whatever, is it a program that they complete and they're off, see you later, or do they stay on for years? How does it all work?
It's interesting that you ask it that way. So it could be a program that you take for years, and there are people that do it. And I would say if you wanted to do the entire program, it would take about 10 years. But it takes anybody from any skill level, any age, can plug into it. It's very customizable. It has a lot of modules. The musicianship modules remain the same. So you learn how to. I like for people to eventually become classically trained so they can read music. Classically trained doesn't necessarily mean classical music. It just means you know how to read music. You understand rhythm. You could listen to a melody and write it down. Um, and so I don't know. I can't remember what I was talking about.
I'll get you back on track. So when you get somebody to sign up, are they absolute newbies to music?
Oh, okay. So yeah. So do they complete a program? I remember that was the question. So they can come in at any skill level. And we can make the curriculum. We build. Oh well, you're about here in your rhythm studies, so you're going to start in level 3 for this. Oh, you're about here for your vocal warm ups, and so we'll start you here. We're going to talk about diphthong management in singing. The English language has 8 diphthongs, but we're only going to talk about 3 right now because it's the same principle. The first one I want to discuss is the one that happens on the word alone. It shows up in the song Blue Moon. Blue moon, you saw me standing alone. So there's 2 vowel sounds in that word alone. And actually, it helps if you respell the word for yourself. So think of it as alone. And the idea is to hang on to this first open vowel for as long as possible. So instead of singing, if you don't do it, it sounds like this. You saw me standing alone, which I don't think sounds as nice as if you were to go alone and only close down to it at the to the ooh at the very end. Another example is in the word brave, which is in Sarah Bareilles' song called Brave, where she sings, I want to see you be brave. All right, so this word, again, it helps to respell it as B-R-E-H. So brave, you're going to keep it open on that and only close down to the E vowel at the very end. So it would be, I want to see you be brave. Only at the end, and almost even hardly do that. So you could go brave. Otherwise, it sounds like this brave, which is becoming more popular. But anyway, that's a matter of preference. The last one I want to talk about, it shows up 3 times in the song, Katy Perry's song, Firework. You just gotta ignite the light and let it shine. Otherwise, it comes out like this. You just gotta ignite the light and let it shine, which some people are doing now, but I like it better if you go ignite the light and let it shine, and so on. There you go. And then I suppose my original goal was to have people be able to study to the point where they could audition at a well-known institution like Juilliard and feel good about their audition. But it's become much bigger than that. And people have gone on to Berkeley and things like that. But I'm more now, the focus more for me is that people would enjoy the music that they're playing and be able to sit down with any other musician in the world and have a collaboration. Ready? Count me in. Right in the microphone.
1, 2, ready, go.
Go from the top of the bridge. Go from Crocodile in the Nile, from down there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2.
6, 6, 7, heaven, 8, gate, 9, spine, 10 once again.
Nice. I think you're ready, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look how it is so beautiful. Hold on to that note in your mind while the rest of the singer goes.
Kid Charlemagne, get along, Kid Charlemagne.
Ellen, what do you think about that mic setup? It's high, huh?
2, 3, 4.
Spread to everybody. How you doing? So Gary, John, you know Mr. Ervin, right? And then you know Mr. Hurley.
Hello.
And I think you met Mr. Parrington before. Good.
How's my hair?
Anything ladies? So
Yeah.
ready to go?
I'm going.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
I'm nervous in front of like 4 people.
Well, I know, it's worse now than it will be tomorrow.
Let's go. Hippopotamus and then come back out. All right, so let's all pretend like it's the end of the Okay, ready? Yeah.
I'm 5 years old.
And what is your name?
Alex.
This is a 12-bar blues.
1, 2, ready, go.
How are you feeling about your performance?
That sounds like a lofty goal.
Well,
I mean, amazing. I think it's awesome.
well, and people think it's hard, but it's not really. It's not really hard if you. It's the difference between studying. Let's say, so I studied French. Did you study a foreign language?
Spanish.
And did you study in school?
I took Spanish all the way through, I think, the second year of college at Gettysburg College.
Okay, so did you study in high school and college?
Yeah,
And then did you ever get into a situation where you had to actually speak Spanish?
a little bit. A little bit.
So, well, I studied French. I studied French all through high school and all through college. So we're talking maybe 7 years. And I would and then fast forward, I never really spoke it in conversation. I don't think I was ever encouraged to have a conversational French. And then fast forward to, I don't know, 10 years later, I have a Chilean woman living with us. That's a whole other story. And we spoke Spanish every day. And I made it my goal. We would sit down and we would do a little study in the morning, but then I would speak with her. And I would try to not speak English. Her English was much better than my Spanish. Well, within a year, I was fluent and I could have conversation. And to this day, I'm so much more, if I try to go to speak to somebody in French, I will say the Spanish words only with a French accent. So that's what I'm trying to do in music. So you could pretty quickly learn in any language, I think, to say, hello, how are you? And that initial conversation and just be able to say some basic words. And so within pretty short order, you can do that as a musician, even as a beginning musician. I loved, I don't know if you've heard of Victor Wooten, but he has a really great video that all musicians everywhere should go watch this particular video where I don't think it's a TED Talk, but it's, and he has a shortened version of it. And he talks about growing up with his brothers, or I don't know if they were all brothers, but there were a bunch of kids. And I think he was the youngest one. And so they were always playing together. And maybe he was the youngest one by far. I'm not sure the way he tells the story, but he said they would always, once he got old enough, they would put a little stool with, they would have a stool for him, and he had, I don't know, maybe a plastic guitar or something, and he just knew that he was supposed to go in there, and he was just part of the band from ever since he was little, and just grew up in that, and now he's world famous and highly sought after as a player, but he just talks about it. When you're born, they don't tell you to go learn your ABCs and your spelling and your grammar before you start talking. That when you're a baby, you get to jam with the pros. That's the word I was looking for. You get to jam with the pros right out of the womb, So that's at our school, that's what you do. You jam with the pros right out of if you're willing, you start lessons 4 weeks, let's say 4 weeks ahead of the concert that we're gonna do where we have a backing band. You're gonna play that show in 4 weeks.
All right. I'm getting very tempted to, like, sign up and take
Okay,
your
well
trumpet. Do you have room for a trumpet player anywhere?
Oh, well, I wish we had a trumpet teacher. I'm sorry,
All
Kevin.
right, then I'll have to learn guitar,
Yes.
which I tried once, about 25 years ago, and I found it so incredibly hard, to reach the strings and all that jazz that I didn't last long. So, what do you think? You
Come on over.
can make it happen?
We can, yeah.
All right, that's awesome. Were you formally trained, or did you come up with this just because of your love of singing and your love of music and all that?
Well, I always feel like a poser because I wasn't trained formally. I didn't go to school or I don't have a degree in education or anything like that. But I had small children, and I was trying to help. My husband had his own business, and so I was trying to do what I could to contribute to the situation. So I did what I only really had a skill set to do, which was to teach some music lessons. So I started teaching some piano, and actually Brian Penry's, who I referenced earlier, he and his wife brought me their son to teach piano, and that was like early on when my daughter was in kindergarten, and my daughter and his son were in kindergarten together, and so they found out that my daughter Rachel played piano at school for some class thing that they were, you could perform. And so it got out that she played piano and that I could actually teach. And so people started to bring their kids to me. And I was terrified because I had no formal education. In fact, I took some lessons from a piano teacher, to say, hey, I know I play, like I had to learn how to play. I was formally trained as a musician in college. I had my degree in voice performance, but where I went to school, you had to also learn how to play piano, read music, do all the things that I'm doing in my curriculum. So I'm very grateful for that education, because I think a lot of singers don't get that sort of training. But at this particular school, it was a broader education. So anyway, so I had Judy come in and listen to me play, and I said, "Do you think it's okay that I'm teaching people to play piano?" And she signed off on it and said, "Yeah, you're good. Just you don't."
Right? We always need someone to approve of us.
Right. So anyway, so I taught for a long time, and then I realized, I'm kind of tired of hearing somebody go C, whatever, they're playing their F scale, F, G, A, B, because they missed the B flat. Oh, this is really hard. And so I started to get bored. And so I thought, well, the reason I'm bored is because I don't know how to teach. So I put the onus on myself. And then that was a crucial moment in where I started to entertain myself and have fun by learning different ways to teach.
That was big.
That was huge.
Yeah, because you actually learned that what you weren't enjoying was something that you needed to change inside of you.
Yes.
And it's the same way with people that are judging others or won't listen to others. Turn it around, to put the flashlight on you and figure out what is it about you that doesn't allow you to see that, to recognize that, because you got to love it all. I mean, this is a big mess.
Yeah.
And if you can't love it all, it's no fun, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's very cool that you figured that out early. And I had the same sort of understanding when I was teaching kids, but mine was different. I was teaching soccer to 10-year-old girls. And I'm like, these guys know more about soccer than I ever have. So I ended up going to get my Class D and then the Class E, like, licenses, so that somebody could teach me how to teach.
So you have to have a license to coach soccer?
You don't, but it's helpful. You get instruction from people that have played at a higher level, college, pro, whatever, and then they have certain things that they're going to teach you about the game and certain ways to run.
So you're like Ted Lasso.
I don't know.
Did you
I'm
watch
not sure.
that show?
No.
Oh, gosh.
No.
You should watch that show. Yeah, because that's the whole thing. The whole premise of the show was that he was oh my gosh. I will whatever I can do to help you watch that show, especially because I know a little bit about you. I think you would really.
All right.
It was not a life-changing show, and but it starts out he's an American football coach, and they bring him to London. I don't really remember all the details of why this happened, but they bring him to England to coach soccer, and he doesn't know anything about the game, like, not one thing. Not one thing. And it's just hilarious, and it's very
It
funny.
sounds good.
It's very fun, but it's not all about that, it's about life, and
Yeah,
it's very positive message.
very cool.
But anyway, it just makes me think so of all people, you started out not knowing about the game, and how did you get into coaching soccer if you didn't know how to play it?
Well, I did. I played.
Oh, you
But
did?
I
Okay.
realized I played through high school.
Oh,
And
alright, so it
I
wasn't
made
like you didn't understand the game.
no.
Okay.
I made All-State, and I was, like, more interested in doing, like,
I
juggling.
see. So it
Like,
was
I was
more
like
the teaching part of it.
yeah, it was more like I realized that these kids were advanced. Like,
Oh,
the skill
I
level
see.
and the understanding of the game had changed, and I got 10-year-old girls that are doing stuff that we were just figuring out in high school,
Yeah.
like passing backwards and, like, whatever. So, I ended up coaching with my daughter's stepfather, Spaniard, who played semi-pro and played at Penn State, and then he coached for 12 years in high school, and I ultimately said, "Hey, why don't we coach together?" So we did that, and we had this little team of kinda like the Bad News Bears version of, like, a soccer team, but, man, they could all run, and so we had this first little tryout when they were 10, and we realized we had, like, 4 kids on our team that would be as fast as anybody else in any other town. Like, if we can teach these guys how to play soccer, we're
Mhm.
gonna do well. And we did. We ended up winning 3 state championships
Wow, that's so great.
in a row and went to a 4th one, and we lost, but I fell over backwards and closed my eyes when I saw our defense break down, and I knew that they were gonna score and win the game in double overtime in that
Nice.
final game, so I still tell everyone I'd never seen my team lose a state cup final. They did lose, but I didn't see it 'cause
Well, that's a fun story.
yeah, it was fun. It was fun. But, yeah, so I just realized that they were so much more advanced, and that's kind of a good lesson
Well,
too,
the
like,
fact that you could acknowledge that.
that's what keeps us young, like,
Mm.
when we can feed off of the young energy coming in, that's why I love bringing in young lawyers to work with Ferry law,
Mhm.
and 'cause some of the younger lawyers I've had have been my best teachers, like, by far. So they think they're here to learn from me, I'm like, "No, I'm learning just
That
as much from
happens
you."
to some kids that come well, not just kids, but, everybody else. Like, you realize that you're actually better at playing piano than I ever will be right now.
Yeah.
So as long as we've got you still wanna come here every week, as long as you know that. So yeah, I learned some things.
That's that's wild. Do you have many sort of like, savants coming in, musical
Oh,
geniuses?
oh,
Like
yeah. Yes. However, I will say that just because somebody is talented and can absorb things quickly doesn't mean they're gonna have the discipline to corral it and sort of what I would call cross the finish line in terms of performing. And not that performance is everything, but I suppose what I mean is play with other musicians, have conversations in music and with other musicians. So I can never guess because it's the tortoise and the hare. That tortoise is gonna win every time, and you can never guess which ones are gonna be the are gonna do the work, be willing to do the work. And every so often, about once a year, I get somebody who has already comes in with a lot of talent and a really good ear and already has, some mastery of their instrument, whether it's their voice or their piano, and they wanna do the work. Those people really skyrocket. But then that tortoise will you just keep going. You just keep going and you keep doing it and you keep staying in the conversation and you might not know the difference between the two.
that's wild. What's been the most surprising or who you don't have to name a name, but, like, as you think back, who's surprised you the most?
I think I don't want to name names.
Yeah, yeah.
But there was a young man that came to me as I think he must have been, well, let's see, he was just graduated this year from high school, and, he came to me, in 2018, so I don't know how old that when I first opened the studio there, and he wanted to, sing he wanted to audition for a show, and, I can't remember, I just Can't Wait to Be King, I think was the song he was gonna sing, and, I was like, "Wow, okay, so we got some work to do," and, we got some work to do. So we did some work and he was willing to do the work. He was just always willing to do whatever. He would always come into his lesson and I always ask people, what's on burning on your heart today to do? And a lot of times there's, somebody has an audition and so we drop everything and work on that, or they've been working on something and they're stuck and they need help. So we drop everything and we work on that. But when I would say, what's burning on your heart? Oh, just anything you want to do. Every time, anything you wanna do, anything you wanna do. So he was just willing to do anything and just kept I suppose the other thing that happens too is once the little ones have been with me for a certain period of time, I sort of take on a mom role, and then there's always that moment when they're maybe in 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade, and they've been with me for a while, where I might lose them because it's time. In the same way that I kind of lost my son. I mean, he came back to me, but he was in my house. I had 3 kids. You eat, you sleep, you breathe, you play piano. You just play piano because 'cause you're not gonna grow up in my house and not be able to read music or play. What not Yeah, you need to read and you need to play. So, every morning before they got on the bus, I would sit with my tea at the piano and we would work. And I'll never forget the day my son, I think he was in 8th grade, and I was trying to he was more of an auditory learner, and I wished I had the training then that I have now, 'cause I think I could have done better by him, but, and he just thinks that's silly, I think that, but, so I was trying to get him to read the music, like, if you would just look at that page and see that note, you would know that the one that you're playing is not correct, and he turned around on the bench and looked at me, he goes, "Mom, we're done. We're done. This is over." And I knew I was on the edge. I knew. So I was like, okay. And then at that point, we stopped our daily lessons. But I mean, he went on to do other stuff. He played in ensembles all through high school, and now he's got an EP out on Spotify and all those places. So anyway, but the point of that, the whole point of all of that is there is the point where sometimes the students they gotta break away from mom. They just gotta go do their own thing. It's not, and I don't see that as a failure of my teaching. I just you think about how many people it trained you to be a lawyer. How many people?
Yeah, tons.
Hundreds, probably,
Mhm.
right? So they need to go study with some other teachers. So I don't try to hold them. In fact, try to help people find some other teachers. But this kid stayed with me and stayed with me and stayed with me and just kept doing it and just kept doing it. And then as this last spring, I thought, well, it's time he's going to graduate and go on to school. And so we did a senior concert for him, and he just crushed it. Just crushed it with a full band. Had I think 8 or 9 songs. He actually had a lot more repertoire that we had worked on that we didn't perform, at that, but
That's cool. So this student was the open vessel, just willing to do
he was
everything.
just willing to do
Yeah.
everything, and he just kept coming back, and I just kept coming back, and I would make him do crazy, crazy stuff that was really and, I wish I knew then what I know now, like, I woulda changed some of the things I did with him, but he would just stay with it.
Hey, the comfort zone is where you go to die.
Right.
And if you wanna expand, you gotta be willing to take chances. People, I think, are forgetting that. That's again, looking up to the stars and all this other jazz, and all we ever see is their perfect moments. We don't see the 35 takes that it took before they got the scene right because they were screwing it up.
Right.
Whatever. They're
Yeah.
human. And so I think people have forgotten that you gotta do stuff. You gotta make mistakes with anything. right? I'm teaching myself to juggle right now,
Are
and
you really?
yeah, soon it's going to be
How do you?
live on the Elven Star.
Oh, I can't wait.
I have this
Can we
really.
do some now?
I don't have my juggling balls handy, but
That's
if
too
you would
bad.
ask, this really cool guy that was on a retreat with in Costa Rica, he was just like one of the most sweet human beings I've ever met. During the time we're down in Costa Rica, somehow he found glow-in-the-dark juggling balls.
Oh, fun.
Because we were just talking about, like, what do you want to get out of this retreat? I'm like, I just want to find my joyful youth and, like, just have more fun. Like, this was a number of years ago. He comes back with these lit juggling balls. So they've been sitting around. I haven't used them much, and I'm just thinking to myself, I got to start practicing with those things. And I think what I really want to do is just film myself working for 1 hour to show people that
Oh, sure.
you can go from zero
Yeah.
to juggling if you actually stick to something for an hour. So many people can't stick to stuff for an hour.
Oh, I believe
Same
it.
thing with spinning a ball on your finger. Anybody can do that.
Seriously?
And I wanted to do that when I was a kid, so I just kept doing it and doing it, and now I
Oh,
can.
I want to see that right now.
Yeah, you want to do that too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, but music's kind of the same way. Like, go try it, go explore. Maybe you don't like piano, maybe it's guitar, maybe you
Yeah.
like to sing.
Yeah, maybe it's another instrument.
Maybe you
Yeah.
could just hit a bongo drum.
Mhm.
But man, music just opens up the soul. And to be able to hang out with others, like you said, is what you're doing.
Mhm.
And you have these concerts and these recitals. I guess that's kind of the formal word.
I like to call them concerts. 'Cause
Concerts.
people have bad memories of recitals.
Recital,
This has bad connotation. And I think it makes people think of, I got to go up on stage by myself and present this thing as if it were perfect. And then if it's not perfect, it's like the ice skater that falls on the ice and it just ruins everything, which I hate that. Why does it have to be that way?
Exactly.
But anyway, so, and the other thing I realized was that, people don't necessarily want to, because I'm a lead singer and I like my voice to be out front. I can't. It's hard for me to imagine that anybody would want to learn how to sing if they didn't want to sing lead. One of my students had to teach me that a few years ago. She's like, I don't want to be out front. I just want to be in the harmony. I just want to be one of the backup singers. I just want to sing in an ensemble. And somebody told me that I guess there was a study done on terms of what is one of the most enjoyable activities that humans can do. And of course, we could all go to all kinds of places in our mind. But I guess singing with other people is one of the top, maybe top. I don't remember. I have to go back and find out. But singing with other people, not lead singing like I'm doing. So I adjusted my teaching a little bit to incorporate that singing together part. So all the singers, I sing with them during the lesson so that they can have that feeling of harmony.
Yeah, that's wild. Was that some sort of scientific
I
research
guess.
or something?
I just heard it from a friend, so.
No, it makes total sense. Absolutely. Because like it's vibration, there's connection, and you're joining yourself with all these others' energetic field. So you just get pumped up through the vibration. So that's why I love this Bhakti yoga. It's
how do you say it?
Bhakti.
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 B-A-K-T-I?
B-H-A-K-T-I.
B-A.
It's the yoga of devotion. It's chanting songs that are in Pali, Sanskrit. You don't have to have any clue what the words mean at all. But if you just keep chanting, inevitably, all of the benefits of those magical words, because they've been chanted for thousands of years, will seep into you and crack your heart wide open. That's why they call it the yoga of devotion. You're just like,
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we'll have to go to a Bhakti thing together and do some singing. You would love it. But you'll have to learn to be backup.
I'll have to. I can do it.
Because you're not up on stage.
I can do it. I'm in a band now and I'm singing backup and I just love it.
That's awesome. What band are you in now?
It's called Neon Park. And they rehearsed just around the corner from the studio, and I actually invited myself to their project.
Oh,
So and they let me come over and sing with them. I just told them, I said, I don't want to be in charge. I just want to be part of something that I'm not in charge of, because I'm running two businesses and constantly putting events together for people, even outside of my work. I'm constantly putting together crazy things.
Yeah, so just something we have no administrative duties.
I just want to show up and sing,
awesome.
and I just love it.
I got to find a band too. Probably not playing trumpet. There's only so many bands you can play in with trumpets.
People are looking for horn players.
Really?
Yeah.
I did play with Sugar You know,
Did you really?
well,
Whoa! So do you know? How long ago was this?
well, my daughter's wedding was a couple years ago, and Sugar was their band.
Was Rick
So
Haddad on the drums at that point?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember. But we went to go see them 2 weeks earlier in Mystic, and I started talking to the trumpet player. I'm like, dude, you're really good. This is awesome. And I said, is there any chance you'd let me play with you for an Earth, Wind, and Fire song at my daughter's wedding? He goes, absolutely. So he got me the sheet music. I practiced a little and got up there and had a absolute
That's awesome.
ball.
That's awesome.
I'll show you the video. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you should be playing your trumpet.
Yeah, definitely bring.
I mean, how often do you get to play with other people?
Hardly ever.
See, that's the crying shame.
That I would play more if I could get to, because I love band. I went to Avon High School and we had 750 people in our entire high school. We had 156 people in our concert band.
Wow.
Yeah, we had chorus, special chorus, concert band, and jazz band, and I was in all of them. And school's just kind of like in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Of
I didn't realize you were that deep in your trumpet playing.
Yeah,
That's so awesome.
I took lessons at the Hart School of Music for a while.
You did?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I was really into it, but that sports was kind of conflicting and whatever. But school did get in the way of music and sports for sure. I don't know why. Do they have schools now where kids can go just play sports and music?
But that would be a beautiful thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we got to get you hooked up with some people.
I think so.
You got to find your people.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Especially if you read. If you can read horn parts.
Yeah, I can read.
Yeah.
I want to learn more about theory. You teach theory too?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could bring your trumpet and we could work on that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. How important is that for musicians?
Theory?
Yeah.
Well,
and tell us what it is too.
Well, it's really like grammar. It's like grammar. So you don't really necessarily have to, in order to speak with proper grammar, you don't really need to know all the rules or the names of them. Like you don't tell your kids that you always need to use the subject pronoun instead of the object pronoun. You don't have to use those words, but you need to. So I'm more interested in helping people learn the grammar of music by actually just doing it. And so I changed. So for example, I'm all about learn your scales, learn what notes go within what scales, and really only here I've been teaching for, I don't know, coming up on, I feel like it's 30 years. I've been teaching over 30 years, and I only just figured out how to teach scales, and at least and I actually have the singers do it too, because I like for them to be literate, as it were, musically literate. So I put them on the piano, and I'll just say, okay, each key has only 7 notes. And I want you to be able to keep track of your 7 notes. And in the key of C, your 7 notes, and I play them on the piano, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And then play the C because it sounds good to end on the. And so I have them play and say. Play and say. So they do it. I said, okay, now we're going to do a little improv in C, and I'm going to play a little. I learned this from this chick I think she's in Ireland. I can't think of her name right now, but she taught me about this exercise. So I'll play a little backing track, and then I say the only rules are you got to start on C and end on C, and then and we're going to play about 8 bars, and I want you to play at least all of the 7 notes at least once. So we do that, and usually they can do it right away. So now they're jamming with the pros already. Okay, and now you've learned what a C scale is, and now you can actually play, and you can actually execute it on the piano. Okay, so now we're going to go to what's the 5th note in the key of C. So we go to C, and sometimes that's a little tricky because of math sometimes gets in the way. So we figure out that it's G. So all right, now the 7 notes in the key of G are G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And you know the game when you were small, they used to play in the living room where you had to jump from chair to chair and the floor was hot lava, right? Did you ever play that game?
Variations of that game. I get it.
So the F is hot lava. That's your hot lava key. So now we're going to play in the key of G. So we do the same improvisation. Sometimes they play that F, but usually they get the hang of it pretty well. So I like to teach theory in that way where you've got a practical thing to do that's implementing the concept, and you're not just learning that the key of G has an F sharp. Because now you've experienced playing in that key, and so you might they usually can retain it better. So it's mostly just the mechanics and the grammar, and so that you can have conversations with other musicians. You can say, okay, so the singers, I'll teach them to write what I call a summary chart or a song map, so that when they go in and they're going to play with a guitar player or a piano player, they can actually speak articulately and say, okay, this is in the original is in E flat, but I'm actually going to do it in F. And one thing you might want to know about it is that it starts on the 4. So it's just helps the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
It just helps you swim in the pool a little more easily.
Yeah, that's what I really want to learn, because I can read music, but then if someone just threw out a key and said, hey, let's just jam with this, I'd be a little lost because I'm like, I got to read it.
Yeah. So I try to help people get away from, because it's so much, the kids love it, because some of the adults like it, but they're like, wow, I don't have to read. I can just play. Like, you can just connect directly with the piano. And
how many students do you think you've taught over the years?
Oh my gosh, I've never tried to figure that out. That would be an interesting
Are we in the
exercise.
thousands at this point, do you think?
Maybe not. Certainly hundreds.
Yeah.
Maybe 500.
That's cool. Do you ever get to Mystic, Connecticut to listen to any music?
Not too much Mystic.
Do you know James Harris guitar by any chance?
Mm-mm.
So he's a buddy. He plays at all the Groton and Mystic places, and he went to, what's the music school in Boston, Berkeley?
Yep.
You mentioned it earlier. He's a Berkeley guy, but man, he just has fun. He's got this beat up guitar. He's got like a Ruth Gator Ginsburg sticker on it, a bunch of other stickers, and it is absolutely beat. Sounds great. Plays backwards behind his head.
Does he sing, or is he?
And he sings.
Oh, okay.
And he plays almost anything. The one thing he won't play, my partner Leslie absolutely loves Queen, but he refuses to play any Queen.
I wonder why.
I think it's like he just can't come close to that voice, and he's going to try. Maybe.
I see. Well, yeah, it's a pretty high bar.
But he'll play
James
Johnny Cat. James Harris.
Okay. Oh, Harris. James Harris.
Super fun guy. Brings like a lot of props. He'll have like rubber chickens and stuff.
Oh, awesome.
Throw out to the crowd so they can squeeze them at the right time. The glockenspiel, he has one of those that gets inserted in a couple songs. But yeah, he's fun. He's actually playing at my grandson's first birthday party.
Oh, that's so fun.
Coming up in a couple weeks.
That's fun.
Yeah. So besides all the music you're doing, you're also like you do art, photography. Like, how do you have time for all this?
Well, that's what everybody says. Like, when people will say, oh, well, was something that you said, I heard in one of your podcasts. People will say to me, well, you're so busy, I don't know how I know. They're trying to contact me or talk to me about a thing, whatever it is. And they'll say, well, I know you're so busy. I said, I'm not that busy. I do what I want to. And what I want to do is have fun. And it is not fun for me to sit in a chair and read, I just don't watch TV. My poor husband, he's kind of given up. He's doesn't agree with me, but he pretty much just had to give up watching TV because I don't watch TV.
I find most people that I meet that are really into living life don't watch a lot of TV because you're just participating in someone else's life. Not that like watching a good movie isn't fun.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah, sure. Well, I like to watch certain movies. Like I see you have is this Anakin, right?
Yeah. Star Wars poster.
Yeah, all Star Wars, Tolkien. I love all that stuff.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I went for a period, I think like 4 years where I didn't turn the TV on once.
It's amazing how much time you have.
Oh man, it was nice. And I'm getting a little bit sucked back into a couple things, but I love Gaia TV. I just went to the Gaia.
What is Gaia?
Ancient Civilizations Conference. Gaia's, I don't even know if to call them channels anymore or apps, right? That's complicated.
Yeah.
But Gaia is Mother Earth, Gaia. It's now a really big channel with a lot of different programming on it. And anything from sound healing to meditation to ancient civilizations to UFOs, you name it, they've got it. It's all the woo-woo stuff, which is no longer really woo-woo. It's like the stuff we need to be human,
yeah.
and the stuff we need to learn to like relate to our world.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they just had a conference in Louisville, Colorado, right near Boulder for 2 days. So I got to listen to 8 different 90-minute lectures from various host of TV programs and things like that on Gaia.
Oh, cool.
It was awesome. It
Cool.
was so much fun. We actually got to talk about music. Robert Edward Grant, who's a polymath, and I've been on a couple trips with him. He was one of the speakers, and he's been doing a lot of work around the pyramids on the planet based on their slope angle. They all represent a different note on the musical scale.
Oh, seriously?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I never
And
heard that.
there's like 24 pyramids, and it's like a 24 note.
Oh, I didn't know there were that many.
He's finally put it to music, and he played it for us the other day. And he added some shimmer, and then he took it away, and it was like amazing. You felt like you were connected to Pleiades, like,
Oh, interesting.
or whatever star system like you think you came from.
Mm-hmm.
But that was cool. That
What
was
star
really neat.
system did you come from?
But yes, the pyramids. I'm not sure, to tell you the truth. I said Pleiades, but I think
Pleiades, is that a constellation?
I think a lot of us came from Orion, the Orion
Orion,
constellation.
okay.
I think a lot of us did. But you got to figure that out for yourself. I'm still working on that.
Why Orion?
Well, it's the one that sort of is in a lot of our mythology, and a lot of our epic tales have to do with Orion. And Orion shows up in Egyptian mythology and Greek, and just kind of it's woven into our fabric.
Mm-hmm.
So if we've been talking about it for thousands of years, it's also evident in the way that the pyramids are laid out. Like if you look at the top of the pyramids, they actually look exactly like Orion's belt. So there's this
Really?
Orion's belt correlation in many of the pyramid complexes all throughout the world. So it's not just in one place. It's pretty amazing. And it goes way deeper than that. But yeah, I think Orion played a big part in who we are in some way.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but photography, you took some pictures for me way back when.
Yep.
That was fun. I got to
gotten-
wear all sorts costumes.
Yeah, I love that shoot.
Oh.
That was a great shoot because you were just in your zone, and I just had to shoot. It was really fun. But I've gotten more into fine art photography, and I think it's a relatively new. It's been part of me all along, but I think for people that know me, it might be a new art form that they don't know that I've been developing since I was a child. My father was a very fine photographer and put a Canon AE, I think it's an AE1 in my hands when I was very small, and kept talking about, he kept trying to talk to me about depth of field, but I did not know what he was talking about. And I swear for 10 years, I thought he was saying depth of feel. I didn't even know what he was talking about. And so it was just fun. It was a funny moment for me when I realized that he was what he was actually saying. But so it's always been a part of my life. And then back in like 2013, I became friends with Irene Liebler, and our families became friends. And she was doing her own business as a graphic designer, and she was on her own, and I was on my own as a musician. And so we wanted to try to work together, at least have an accountability meeting once a week, just to talk to each other about what we were doing and encourage each other in our work, so that we didn't feel so alone in our these solo people. So over that summer, we did what I would call we did a camp together for our kids. She has 2 kids, and I had 3. And so we did that every morning. I think maybe it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm not sure. Every morning in the summer, Irene would bring her 2 kids over, and we did a filmmaking camp. And we had all 5 kids. We produced at least, I want to say maybe 6 or 7 films, and each of the kids had a different role. So you were either the script writer, or you were the director, or you would storyboard. So everybody worked on everybody's productions. Anyway, so we got really close over the summer. Our families got really close, and then I believe it was the end of that summer when Hurricane Irene hit, and we were all without power in our neighborhood for a couple weeks, and we practically lived together because her stuff was, melting out of her freezer. Everybody, we all lived together for those couple weeks, that whole neighborhood. And so anyway, it was a really fun bonding experience. And it was right after that she and I had decided, once we put the kids on the bus, which I believe was September 1st that year, put the kids on the bus, we were going to have our meeting that day. And the meeting ended up being, because we'd been taking pictures and doing videography all summer, the meeting ended up being how we're going to start this photography business together. So we worked on our photography business, and then in the process of doing that, I learned you had to have a website. So we hired my friend to put up this website, and I'm watching her do the website. And I was like, oh, I actually could do that. I could do that. So you finish your contract, and I'm just going to take that over. So I didn't realize how much skill set I had been building through my math years in college and things like that. So, we worked together for years. I don't remember. It must have been I think it was at least 5 years. And we ended up doing a lot of websites for people, and because people found out we were photographers, and then they would also need a website. So we would do that. So I got to spending time with her. I got to learn a lot about composition and color, and she's a phenomenal artist, and as well as her husband. And just the amount of time that I got to spend with them. Brian Penry too. So I was in with all of these really cool designers and learned a lot of stuff. And so I just kept taking pictures. Meanwhile, I have a grass obsession, not the kind of grass that you think of. Everybody thinks, well, okay, grass, right? So and my mother makes fun of me. I've always been obsessed with, like, oh, I haven't seen this flower, like little flowers and things that are on the wayside next to the road. I would collect and learn what they were. So I would consider myself an amateur botanist just because I was curious.
That's cool. Right. Curiosity.
Yeah. Just because I was, yeah.
Curiosity, the most underrated sort of trait of human beings. If we were all more curious to learn about each other, that's the thing I get out of this, is I learn so much about people and how awesome they are and how many cool things they do. But man, you just said a lot right there. First of all, I have to say, lucky for your children to have cool moms.
That was so fun. We were lucky
Amazing.
to have each other. Yes.
They must, to this day, probably. You still have films? You ever
Oh, sure.
pull them out and watch them?
Sure. Yeah. They're hysterical.
That's amazing.
And my son did one on juggling, so you might want to watch it.
On what?
Juggling.
Oh, yeah.
He teaches you how to juggle.
I want to see that for sure. So then also, because you just did some fun stuff together, you end up forming a business. So that's a good lesson. Like, do what's fun and see what happens. Just explore. You never know where it's going to take you. The other thing you said was, during a storm, people got together.
Yeah.
And they lived together, and they were in community. They were like families.
Yes.
Can you imagine how different it would have been if during COVID they told us, get together with people, support each other?
How much different.
Instead of all this nonsense about
Oh, it was
staying
awful.
away and you're
It
going to
was
kill each
awful.
other if you breathe on grandma, and the fear mongering. So when nature is going to beat us down, and whether or not that was nature or not, doesn't sound like it was. Sounds like it was a man-made thing. But you got to get together.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what. Like, that mistake should never be replicated. Because, like, look at all the good that comes out of it. It's amazing. Cool story.
Well, so the segue would into the photography now. So I'm collecting all these plants and learning what they are, and that's a whole other story. But I got into photographing. We call it macro photography, which I had always wanted to do, but only am just now kind of getting my chops on, and lighting and that kind of thing. And
Tell me what that is. What is macro photography?
Macro photography, I'm sure you've seen when they show you the eye of a fly, and it's like all like that's probably hundreds of pictures put together to to show you. So it's a combination of,
Okay.
usually people are doing focus stacking, where you macro photography, I think, just means that it's close up.
Mhm.
And then you have to have a special lens to be able to get in close. So the special lens combined with the focus stacking enables you to show an entire thing in focus. So, like, we're going to take a picture of these glasses.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Right. This
Yeah.
one might be in focus
Right.
depending on your depth of field.
Right.
Field.
Depending on your depth of field. If you have a wide depth of field, they might all be in focus. But macro photography, the depth of field has to be so thin that you take a series of shots that are, okay, now this is in focus, now this is in focus, now this. And then you use a special utility to put them together, and it combines the photos. So I'm doing that with small little tiny flowers and things like that. And that's how I'm going to try to do something different than what most of the still life floral photographers have done over the years and are seemingly doing now, which is to take the I could be wrong. I'm still digging around and learning myself, but roses, they go to the florist and they get roses and they get peonies and they get all the beautiful flowers, the tulips, nothing that you could actually grow in your yard or find on the side of the road. So I'm trying to take the common plants.
That's awesome.
The common plants that are in your...
When I graduated from the toxic green lawn that we all aspired to because we were convinced that was the way to go, to have to hire a green machine to spray our lawn with a bunch of poison so that our animals would get sick, right, whatever, all the good stuff that humans went through. And I finally realized that was the wrong way and just let my lawn go. I remember sitting out on the lawn one day and looking at a patch that was literally like, a few inches by a few inches. And I couldn't even count how many different varieties of plants that you could see. So I strongly encourage anyone out there who doesn't spray their lawn, or even if you do, go somewhere where it's not been sprayed and just check out what's growing in there. The stuff that I saw was like magic. I could not believe the variety of stuff. And that's what nature's supposed to be. And so we monocrop and have like one blade of green grass, and then we have to cut it and then pay someone to pollute the air with a lawnmower. Such nonsense. So
you're letting it grow and be wild.
100%. Not only did we let our lawn grow wild, we actually let go really wild, like 4 feet high.
Wow.
So we just cut around the house.
So you have a meadow.
So we had a meadow, and I came home one day to find that we had a baby fawn lying down in our meadow, and Leslie was freaking out because the sprinkler system went off, and she was afraid it was going to scare the fawn away. So I, whatever, we saved the day, and everything was good. But can you imagine that? Grow your grass and invite nature
have fawns.
to you, to have fawns like literally being born in your yard.
We had baby foxes.
Yeah, cool.
We had like a family of foxes in our yard because we're living in a place where if you were to mow our lawn, you only need to do it maybe once or twice a year because it's just mostly forest. We live in the woods, but and so we don't mow it or really do much landscaping. And so this family of foxes has moved in. This couple has moved in once a few years ago and then once this last year. And they had we were so excited when they came back because I thought they were gone forever. But there was this little spot right next to the road, like 10 feet from the road, where it's a perfect spot for a den for whatever reason. And so this fox couple raised 5 fox babies. I think they're kits.
Wow. You need to bring some over to Mystic because we're being overrun by rabbits right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a big year. Like every 9 years, from what I understand, the rabbit population goes nuts. And
seriously?
Yeah,
every 9 years?
I looked it up the other day. It's 8 or 9 years. But then the fox population, I don't see any foxes. So I think they got beat down by the tough winter we had last year. For whatever reason, the rabbits are just like... Literally, when I walk my dog, I'll see somewhere between 6 and 12 rabbits, which is a problem because every rabbit he sees, he gets frozen. And he thinks he's going to slowly creep up on it. It's literally could be like a 20-minute ordeal. So these walks could last hours if I just let nature do its thing. So, yeah. So I want some of your foxes if we could have just
I'll see what I could do.
over.
They're so cute. I have a video. I took really cool video where I was able to get really, really close and really zoom in so you can. They're just playing, and then one day they were just gone. I thought, and this happened before too, and I thought, oh, I wonder what happened. Well, I know some of our neighbors weren't really happy about the foxes because of cats. You know, that they would bring. There would be like the front of the fox den was not a pretty scene.
Yeah.
Not a pretty scene, and some of our neighbors were upset about that, and I was worried that they had taken out the foxes because they weren't happy about the cats. You know, I understand that. But it actually turns out that they only stay in their den for the first 8 weeks, and then they leave as a family, and they go stay in what are called bolts. Just be a little curious and you find out some cool things. So and bolts are places that are just like little indentations in trees or I'm not really sure. And they stay all together, but so that they can bolt anytime there's like a problem.
So a bolt is something that gives them a great 360 view so they can just take off when need be.
Yeah.
The fox that used to live around us was awesome. He or she would just lie down right on the double yellow lines in the middle of the road.
Oh my gosh.
It's a quiet road, so mostly walkers and hikers and stuff, and occasional car, but for some reason, he liked hanging out on the yellow lines.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Go figure.
I would like people who want to learn from you, whether it's music theory, art, all your stuff. How do they do that? How do we get the word out so they can find you and learn all this cool stuff?
The easiest place to find me is crescendomusicloft.com. Or you could go to my other website, which is super9studios.com, and that's the photography and web development. And it's Super 9 Studios because when Irene and I were doing our summer camp, the two families together were 9. And so it was a play on Super 8. So we became Super 9, and we made T-shirts. We even went to New York and bought. Well, it didn't matter that we went to New York. That was just because it was fun. So have fun while you're doing it. So we went and bought fabric to make capes for the kids because that was their camp costume. Anyway, so we were Super 9, and then that became the name of our business.
Seems like a whole program there to teach parents how to have like a super experience for their children over the summer without having to send them to some camp.
Right, but it would require that you didn't work.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
Working
rough.
does get in the way a lot. Anything else we need to do to get the public connected with you, or have we explored that?
I think that's pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun, especially to talk about foxes.
Yes.
We obviously had a lot of vibe going on there. But the whole thing was great. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Like and subscribe to this episode because it's awesome.
Brought to you by Ghost the Dog Productions. Bark from the rooftops, baby. Ooh.
The Elven Star Podcast is underwritten,
by Fairy Law.